You know, I'm here in Texas where we don't have any alimony. We do have alimony, but for the high net worth folks, like if Donald Trump was getting a divorce here in Texas, the maximum amount of alimony he would pay is $2,500 a month for no more than 36 months. And I don't think Miss Ivana or Miss whatever her name is now would like 25, would think that that's fair. And I don't know that I think, as a matter of fact, I don't think that that's fair. Somebody making multi-million dollars a year paying $30,000 a year in alimony. But that's the law where I live. And so if I go to court and say I want a bunch of alimony, the judge just laughs at me because that's not even a possibility. So, you know, the collaborative process being a settlement process is a process where at least that option can be discussed, debated, negotiated, traded for something. In the courtroom, you got no leverage. So for some of my clients in the collaborative process, it's the opportunity to negotiate for cash flow or cash or alimony that they wouldn't have in the courtroom for maybe the non-moneyed spouse or the stay-at-home mom. For my business owners, it's a chance to negotiate for delicate solutions to how to divide the wealth of the business, protect the individuals in the business from bad publicity, and allow people to get creative with tax-friendly settlements, all kinds of creative solutions to business issues that benefit both. And so that's good. But coming back around, you know, being involved in the collaborative process, you know, I know for years when I would come home from those jury trials and I'd think about, now why did I go to law school? You know, I was going to save the world. And I come home from that jury trial and I go, I don't think I did much world saving today. But my work in the collaborative process and this model, not only in the family cases, but the people that are out there, you know, saying we could use this process in other kinds of litigation, in other kinds of disputes. Use this model. Well, that's world changing. And if you can help a couple that is fighting over their children or their property, where the fight is almost primal, you know, their feelings about your kids is primal, and all that emotion. If you can help people learn how to settle those disputes without going to war at the courthouse, well, it's got larger and larger ramifications. And so maybe in a crazy, kooky kind of path, I'm back in the business of being some part of changing the world. That feels pretty good. So the question is, what is the value of using neutral financial professionals in the collaborative process? And there's a bunch of them. Most of my clients are high net worth folks, millionaires, and ever great once in a while one of those billionaire kind of folks. So sometimes there's a lot of complicated financial issues that are in and around the dispute. One of I guess the financial professional helps do a couple things. One, gather all the information and make sure that the parties and their attorneys are thinking of everything when you're talking about gathering all the relevant information, and help in making sure that there is full disclosure. Because sometimes a financial professional will think of something, you know, well, have you asked to see this? Didn't even know there was one of those. Well, let's get that out and look at it. So they help gather information, I think ensure that everything that people need to have on the table to make a decision is there. They help educate many times there's an imbalance of either power or information or financial competency or all three. And so in their role as an educator, they can balance that a little bit, and it's it's very, very helpful in this respect. If I have the businessman client, and this is a very stereotypical situation in my particular practice anyway. I have a businessman client, married 20, 30 years, to a stay-at-home mom that doesn't know much about anything financial. But they're getting a divorce, and so my businessman is going to educate the missus on the financial situation, why the bond market is down, how come these derivatives have sunk him, and why we have to do things. And of course, a couple things. Usually that guy is terrible as an educator from the get-go, just period. But because it's him, or if it's me, let me tell you, Ms. Jones, why this is. She can't hear because it's him who she doesn't trust, shouldn't trust, because he had an affair or he lied or he cheated or whatever brought us to this table. And so you have this person trying to educate somebody that cannot be heard. With a neutral in the room, you got a couple of neutral financial, you got a couple of things going on. One, you've got somebody who's maybe more used to trying to educate people that don't know about financial issues than your average person, even a financially sophisticated person. So that's great. And then two, they're neutral, so the other party can hear them. And then the last thing that they help with, and they do a lot of different things. You know, here, well, let me say this first. The last thing that they do is they help brainstorm options, and they help come up with possible solutions, possible ideas. And just like the husband, or if I'm representing the husband businessman, if he comes up with a truly brilliant idea, here's an idea on how to settle this case where you get some alimony, we protect the business, we put the kids in college, we set up a trust fund for this, and it's just going to be the coolest thing. And it truly is brilliant and truly does serve her interests and all that. She's going to hear it as the screw you plan. Doesn't matter how brilliant it is. And if we say, and early in collaborative, we said, well, we're not going to have businessman and husband say, we'll have brilliant lawyer that's been collaboratively trained say it. Well, it still comes out as the screw you plan. That's just what gets her. And a neutral financial, if one can develop the plan himself, or she can develop the plan himself, that's bonus points. But if he or she can at least present it, explain it, walk it through, then a truly brilliant idea may have a chance to be acted on by the less informed spouse.